A really good theory for Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt is going around, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's going on with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and more. Let's start things off with Seth Rollins because everyone is a bit confused about what's going on with him. Seth Rollins entered 2022 as a heel, and his year got off to a hot start by facing off against Roman Reigns for the Universal title. But even in that feud, Seth Rollins was still a heel, and it was one of those extremely rare cases of heel versus heel. Then towards the middle of the year, Seth Rollins had the trilogy of matches with Cody Rhodes. They even wrote Cody Rhodes off for good by having Seth Rollins attack him on Raw. But in recent weeks, we've been seeing Seth Rollins slowly transition into a new persona. The crowd was really getting into him again. They're singing his theme song, they're cheering for him. Everyone was happy to see him hold first piece of WWE Gold in several years. It was this slow transition of what appeared to be a babyface turn for the Seth Rollins character. You could argue that he's been a babyface for a few weeks now, but what recently made fans' heads spin in confusion was a promo from Seth Rollins on the November 23rd edition of Raw. The new recent babyface version of Seth Rollins that we've been seeing over the last few weeks was suddenly gone and replaced by that heel version of Seth Rollins that we saw earlier in the year. Seth Rollins brought back his laugh and was gloating about putting Cody Rhodes on the shelf, reminding everyone that he was the one that put Cody Rhodes away. So, if Seth Rollins had been his normal heel self over the last few weeks, then this promo obviously would have been newsworthy. You expect a heel to talk like that and mention those things. But to spend a few weeks as a babyface and then suddenly give off a heel-like promo again, reminding everyone what you did to Cody Rhodes, a massive babyface, was the part that had some fans confused about what exactly is this current version of Seth Rollins. When you look back at it, there really wasn't this big babyface turning moment for him in recent weeks. It was just something that sort of happened over the last few weeks. He was even listed on the internal WWE roster as a babyface, so that's why fans were running with that. But maybe they're taking Seth Rollins' character into a Riddler and Joker kind of direction, where you can't really trust them and they're always going to be some sort of evil inside the character at the end of the day. So maybe that's where they're going with it. Maybe he's not either, or maybe they're leaving him right in the middle to serve as a tweener. Seth Rollins is also basically serving right now as Raw's World Champion, but it's currently the biggest singles title that's available on Raw, so you can basically look at it as Raw's temporary world title. So maybe they revert Seth Rollins back into that tweener role, so he can go up against both the heels and babyfaces. A lot of fans still want to see another match between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins because the way they left their story off during Royal Rumble 2022 wasn't the most satisfying ending. So maybe that is something that they can even revisit. A lot of fans were also discussing the possibility of seeing another Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins match at next year's WrestleMania. But the big problem with that was how it'll be a babyface versus babyface. But if Seth is back in that tweener sort of role after all, and did just take a shot at Cody Rhodes, maybe the door is back open again for another match between those two superstars. But it was just a promo that was pretty out of character when compared to what we've been seeing recently with Seth Rollins on Raw. But hopefully they do continue to follow that up and let us know exactly where this character stands in the coming weeks. Some new fan theories for a possible continuation of Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss's story have been popping up recently. WWE started the discussion themselves by showing the Bray Wyatt logo with Alexa Bliss for several weeks on Raw, and even at Crown Jewel. No explanation is really needed if you know about the history between Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. Bray allowed Alexa Bliss to get close to him, trusted her, and it all blew up in his face when she turned on him during a critical moment on WrestleMania 37. The Fiend and Bray Wyatt were never heard from or even seen again in WWE after that night all the way until Extreme Rules 2022. Now, of course, in reality, there were several rumored issues that led to Bray Wyatt's release. But strictly sticking to the storyline world of this entire situation, you can argue that Alexa Bliss caused the downfall that Bray Wyatt went through as a character. She turned on him, took everything from him, and he quite literally lost everything. So that's why it does make sense for Bray, Howdy, or any other alter ego that Bray has to still be upset with Alexa Bliss for all those events that unfolded in 2021. It just makes sense, storyline-wise, to either quickly revisit that story for a proper conclusion, or kick the story back off and run it back again for a second time. And the interesting little statistic that kicked all this off is that the November 25th edition of Smackdown will technically be the first time that Alexa and Bray will both physically be on the same television show since that night at WrestleMania 37. Just an insane thing to think about, that this really is the first time that they're both sharing a show since that night of betrayal. So, given that piece of information, and the fact that the logo has been chasing Alexa Bliss since Crown Jewel, are we about to see the payoff? Maybe it's Smackdown, Survivor Series, or maybe even a little down the line. But the theories really make sense. And when you take a look at everything that's been happening with Alexa Bliss recently, just a lot of mystery and unknown suspense there. Did Bray Wyatt already get to Alexa Bliss? Or is he about to strike? Bayley even had a line on Raw that seemed to be hinting at a possible turn for Alexa Bliss. Bayley mentioned how Alexa and Asuka have only been standing by Bianca's side over the last few months because they just want that next title shot. So, could Bayley's words become a reality, with Alexa Bliss turning on Bianca Belair and the rest of the team? It definitely is interesting and still a very big possibility. Bray Wyatt's return has been based around the appearance of new family members and a rumor of his own faction. So him setting the conflict with Alexa Bliss and potentially welcoming her back in as a new member of his faction does still seem like a possibility. And if Bray and Alexa do ever get paired up again, you have Karrion Kross and Scarlett right there on SmackDown. Wyatt and Bliss versus Kross and Scarlett was a big fan dream match dating back to 2020. Karrion Kross has even reposted several fan-made graphics of that match. But the discussion of the match died down after 3 of the 4 superstars were released from WWE. But with everyone being back in WWE, the chances to see this dream mixed tag team match and story are higher than they've ever been. The way Karrion Kross and Scarlett mirrored Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss is so interesting. So it'll be a lot to see how this story unfolds and what could come out of it if this dream match ever does take place. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and the Alexa Bliss theories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.